Hey everybody, this is Said Amiri. I'm a computer scientist and software engineer and into this stuff, generally speaking, solving problems. And today I want to show you my comparison between ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and Gemini on their ability to generate quotes solving real life problems. What is the real life problem that I consider is a space-time curvature animation of a space-time curvature. Okay, let me first show you. Many of you already are familiar with this, but for those who are not familiar with the space-time curvature, I will quickly give a very short intro. I'm not expert of this, but I will quickly give a very short intro, and then I will explain why I chose this. Okay, if you Google a space-time curvature like what I did, and then go to the image, you see lots of beautiful images. And this comes from this is the first image I chose. It's just a random image. I didn't have the preference anything like that. It's just what showed up in Google search. Also, I searched in Bing. Also, if you search in Bing, you see similar images. Okay, so what is this? It's basically saying that a space is three-dimensional space, right? And time they together form four-dimensional space for us. And if a big mass like sun, like Earth, are moving along this four-dimensional space, then they create a curvature, they create a bend there or warp there. And this curvature is what implies the illusion of gravity for us. Einstein, unlike Newton, didn't believe that gravity is a force, says that it's just result of the curvature, and everything tends to go to the center of this curvature. And even if the light passes by, light also bends. So if the mass is bigger, curvature is bigger, as you can see in this picture. The smallest curvature is by this small sphere, and then bigger one is by this bigger mass, and middle one is by this brown one. So we want to create such a curvature by sun, earth, and then move it along the grid and see how it looks like. This is our goal. Why I chose this? Because I thought that, first of all, giving typical coding puzzles is not good because they can train it, and then there are lots of smart coders, programmers. They can solve the problems for them. Then they are well trained probably by now. I didn't test it, but last year they weren't very good. But right now I think they might be very good. So it's not a good choice. Even if they are not good, maybe one of them solves, for example, lots of lead code problem, and another one solves another problem set, for example, from Codeforce, and then one of them is good in solving certain puzzles, another one is good in solving certain puzzles, and the comparison is not fair because they are trained on different aspects. So I thought that let's consider something general purpose, something that we see in real life, like we want to create animation, we want to create something beautiful, and this is something we see in real life, like animation, something beautiful. And it also has its own problems. For example, creating this band is something that they should put effort on it. When this moves, then you should consider the dynamic of the board, also speeding up the system. And especially when it goes to the corner, it can create lots of edge cases, and we don't need to test all edge cases because edge cases are already visible for us. They should resolve the edge cases, otherwise the animation doesn't work. So basically, unlike the traditional coding puzzle stuff that one should make lots of tests to see if all edge cases are covered, in this case we don't need much to do edge cases. Also, everybody can understand whether the outcome is good or bad. It doesn't need to be even remotely connected to computers to have a feeling whether this animation is good or bad. So let's stop talking and go see what they did. What I do next is I show you what they did in order of prompts that I gave them. I started from very simple cases to more complicated cases, and then I show you a little bit of chats I had with them, the prompts I gave them, and lies they told me during when they were unable to do something. And at the end, I will go through the code a little bit. And yeah, let's start with the outcome of what they did. Okay, this is the first outcome of ChatGPT. As you can see, I asked ChatGPT to create. Oh, sorry, this is not. This wasn't the first outcome. I jumped. First outcome of ChatGPT was basically this one that I asked just create Earth walking on the time and space. Okay, this is what I asked ChatGPT. Just create Earth goes along time and space. And creates a curvature and looks very nice. Not as perfect as many videos you see in the internet, but it is very good. As if you just give prompts, I gave like 3 prompts, and I didn't do any coding myself. I gave 3 prompts and just run the code and so if it works or not. And it worked. I explained this error happened or this problem happened, but I didn't I didn't write a single line of code myself. So this looks good, right? Looks very legit and creates the curvature very nicely. Then I did it with the DeepSeek. DeepSeek also did it very nicely. Basically, okay, DeepSeek did it nicely. Let me show what this is. A space-time warp only. It's not solar system yet. This is what DeepSeek did. As you can see, DeepSeek cannot bend the front part. It bends the back, but doesn't bend the front part. But still did a good job. Then I asked Master Gemini. I have a difficulty to pronounce its name, but this is what Gemini did. Basically nothing. Couldn't compile it. Couldn't run it. Was getting error. Then I asked DeepSeek with double E to fix the problem of Gemini. DeepSeek did it, and I called this output DeepSeek deep ill, something like that, because it was very ill behaved by Gemini actually. So this is what Gemini actually did, but couldn't do it completely. Okay, as you can see, Gemini didn't create a curvature except at the very end. The problem is that Gemini had to create a curvature from the start to end, from when the ball starts to move, okay, to the end. It had to create a curvature. For this, it had to refresh the grid and create this bend, but it didn't. For whatever reason, it didn't. So then I gave up for Gemini. Let me also show you some chats I had with the Gemini. It is funny because Gemini was saying that, okay, I did it. I tested it completely and it works. But it wasn't working. Okay, let me show you. For example, I say that it doesn't work because of this problem, then says that you're absolutely correct, my apologies, and so it's soft continued error, and this is a working code. Okay, happily I say that okay, I will test this working code, and then say that okay, it doesn't work, and then again says apologies, and this is stuff. And the funny part is that at some point it starts to claim that I've tested the code and it works very good. Okay, here I have tested this code myself now and it should work correctly. Okay, I asked to provide a full code because I was using iPad, couldn't copy paste from here, and then provided full code, and then I said okay, it says again wrong for and this problems happens, and again says that oh sorry, and this is stuff, and this goes forward and backward, and every time it claims that, as you can see, I have tested this version, and every time it claims that I have tested, but every time is wrong. Every time is wrong, and even says it boldly. It finally works. Every time is wrong, and then this happens like many times, and then at the end I gave up. I said that okay, I'm not master of money. Let's ask DeepSeek to quickly resolve the problem. DeepSeek immediately resolves the problem. Again, for example, here it says that I have run this code myself and it works and blah blah, but it is lying. So Gemini was very awful, so I gave up on Gemini, and then I moved to the next step. Next step was that I wanted to create a space-time warp, but on whole solar system. I said okay, let's start with the sun, earth, and the moon. Let's skip Jupiter and others. For now, let's start with sun, moon, and earth. And I asked ChatGPT, because it was most successful last time, I asked ChatGPT to do it first. And this was the first thing ChatGPT created. Okay, my son also talks in the other room. Earth moves around the sun, and then once Earth finish one orbit, moon goes around the Earth, and this repeats forever. And okay, this is funny, right? Because Earth should move orbit around the sun, and moon also orbits around both Earth and sun, not waiting for Earth to complete 1 year and then go 1 month around the Earth. So I told this, and ChatGPT said, "Yeah, you're right," and it is completely forgetting that okay, this was supposed to be a space-time warp. There is no curve here. There is no curvature here. Okay, I told it and said that oh, you're right. Let me correct it. Yeah, let me correct it. And this is the correction ChatGPT provided. No, both moon and earth are orbiting around the sun, but as you can see, moon orbits only once around the earth in the whole year, and this is not very realistic. I mean, of course I don't expect it to orbit like 12 times around the earth, but more than one time to make it more realistic. So I thought that maybe it is just too complicated. It also forget completely to create a curvature. So I thought that this might be a little bit complicated for it. And this is ChatGPT 4 Turbo, if I'm not wrong. So, and then I said that okay, I give up. Just create sun and earth orbiting around the sun. And this is what I spoiled it at the start. No, earth orbits around the sun, and it is nice. Then I told it okay, the sun should go a little bit down there. We don't need the orbit path of earth to be visible, and make the earth a little bit away from the sun so that we can see the curvature better. ChatGPT said okay and did this. I should say that again, I basically did nothing. I didn't write single line of code for this. ChatGPT did all of it. Maybe I tried like 3-4 prompts, but that's all I did. And as you can see, the sun is just too much in the curvature. Then I said that okay, make the sun yellow, and yeah, it originally created sun yellow, but it wasn't yellow because it was taking the background grid color. So, but then with a slight here, I give a little bit of hint how to do it so that it doesn't get the background color. And also I ask it to generate an illusion of like glowing sun. and it did a clever thing actually. Okay, it is of course not a perfect animation, a perfect the drawing, but with the tools it had, it was very clever in my opinion, because it creates this illusion by creating different radius cycles, and it was a very nice idea. It came up with this idea itself. I just told it how to just position the sun after the grid is created, so that it doesn't get the background color also a little bit more. This is only helped by it. Otherwise, the rest is completely by ChatGPT, and you see it did that very nicely. So here is where you should vote. Now we should go and see DeepSeek. I asked DeepSeek to do the same, and this is what DeepSeek did. Solar system DeepSeek. Okay, I didn't generate a very high quality. DeepSeek actually generated without a problem. No, this is yellow without any problem, and I didn't ask to make the gap between sun and earth here, because I thought that this looks already nice. Also, sun can go a little bit down there, earth also can go a little bit down to be deep into the little bit deeper into the curvature, but that's fine. You can just change the offset and it works. So I think DeepSeek also did a very good job of this, and I asked DeepSeek to create to make the sun glowing, and this was the attempt of DeepSeek by making gradient coloring, and it was a good attempt. Also, it was a good attempt, but maybe attempt of ChatGPT was more interesting from the machine. When you see a machine is doing this, it's very interesting. Okay, now as I promised you, I want to take you quickly to the code, not much. I just go through the code of ChatGPT very quickly. First of all, they use actually library that I told both of them to use Monim to draw it, and okay, they also both of them use NumPy to do some other stuff, but that's not my suggestion. I suggest them to use Monim. And what they do first is initiate the camera and then create the Earth. Earth is just a sphere, and after creating Earth, okay, and if you know Monim, you can create the scene. Three-dimensional scene is created here. So, and then we add this Earth to the scene, and then creates the grid, and adds the grid to the scene. Okay, in creation of a grid, what it does is that creates a surface, and at a specific point of this surface creates curvature. Right, and yeah, here is warp, and for this origin is the position of sun, and here is another warp for Earth, and then adds this grid to the scene. At the end creates glowing sun, and this glowing sun is created here. As I explained, first is just creating a sphere with the specific properties, and then creates several layers of different circles, spheres, and returns the sun and the layers, and add them to the scene. At the very end, what it does is just add the layers and sun to the scene. At the very end, what it does is just play them, and Earth orbits around the sun, orbits for 360 degrees, and with the center origin is where the sun is, and with this runtime. And yeah, that's it. That's what they did to do, and DeepSeek did very similar thing. One thing that I didn't say is this: creating the curvature is just they use the Gaussian function, something like Gaussian function to create a curvature. That's what they did. And yeah, it's very compact code and clean code. It's perfect. I would say it's very nice and very easy to parameterize it, and they look very capable. But they look very capable of doing real world scenario problem, solving real world scenario problems. But it should go step by step. I think it is possible to ask them to generate full solar system, but yeah, we should add every element step by step. Maybe right now I can add the moon to the system, but I don't know. When Grok 3 comes out, I will test it and will maybe give the result, share the result with you. Yeah, and then that's it. Share your opinion with me. See you. Oh, why I cannot turn it off?